motion these just a little so you don't hear me rustling papers.
Where's it going?
Are we good? Is everybody ready? Okay, great. Thank you for being with us here this afternoon. We're here to provide you with some information on our most recent deputy-involved shooting, which occurred on September 20th at roughly about 8:45 in the evening is when the incident started. That incident happened at a local business at 6724 2nd Street Northwest. We have the case information there for you on the screen, the time and location of the incident, the case and CAD number if you require it, if you want to input any additional information that I don't cover today. The timeline for the incident, I won't read verbatim all of the different bullet points here about the timeline. As I mentioned, the incident started at about 8:45 in the evening. Our deputies were dispatched to a commercial burglary alarm at this business, which was a car dealership. And from the time that the incident started, it took about 1 hour of elapsed time until we were able to get the suspect into custody. Over the course of that period, we summoned additional resources to the incident location, canine, a drone operator, additional deputies to establish a perimeter. It was at about 9:13 in the evening when the actual shooting incident occurred, and then we were able to take the subject into custody safely at approximately 9:40. And we'll show you a variety of lapel camera footage and some drone footage as well that was taken from the incident. The scene overview, there's a couple of specific locations there on the scene overview that I would draw your attention to. There are orange boxes that are labeled there on the screen. It might be a little bit difficult to see from distance, but in the bottom right-hand corner of that image, at this particular location, it is a fenced-in car lot with a structure in the middle there that's operating as the business. In the bottom right-hand corner, there was a fenced-in enclosure that was for trash and other items that were being kept there at the property. That enclosure at the bottom right-hand corner of the screen is where our deputies encountered the suspect. The second orange location, oh thanks, you zoomed in, perfect. So the second location there above is the location of the deputy who exchanged gunfire, active gunfire with the suspect. There's one additional location that's not, can you zoom out just a little bit? So there's one additional location that's not marked on the map, and you might ask when I'm showing you some of the evidentiary photographs that were collected from the scene. Specifically, we were able to collect the actual bullet projectile that was fired at our deputies. One of them, there was multiple shots fired at the deputies, but one of the projectiles we were able to locate. If you look at the center aisle of cars there, you can see that the striping in the parking lot kind of forms an arrow going up. Kind of at the apex of that arrow shape is roughly where we located that projectile. It's just not marked on the screen there. So we're going to show you some, as I mentioned, some body camera footage. We're going to start with one of our deputies who was on the scene, Deputy Newcomer. So we'll show you his response. As he's standing at the front of the business, he walks to kind of re-clear that area at the back, that enclosure for the dumpster in the bottom right-hand corner of the property. As he goes back to re-clear that area, he opens up the enclosure and encounters the suspect, and it's immediately after that that the gunfire is exchanged. So we'll show you his body camera footage. We'll also show you the footage from Deputy Baldonado, as well as drone footage of us locating the subject after the gunfight has taken place. Go ahead.
Curious what their plan was. Get the keys and crash through the gate, or They thought they had money in there. I don't know. Did you look in that this garbage can area? It looks like someone's living in it. I haven't asked the. Do what? Mm-hmm. This one perplexes me, and the PT loser perplexes me. Yeah, I mean, while they're here, but in here. Get back! Get back!
Fire. I'm not sure where they're coming from. He's heading out east. No one hit me there.
You get a torch? Okay.
Well, don't get you on this way, the next one over.
All right, just 1 second. So, after that, they lost sight of the subject because he did flee over the wall of that enclosure. So they weren't exactly sure where he is. So what we've done is we've taken a portion of the video that you just saw, we've just slowed it down so that you can clearly see the actions of the suspect when our deputy opened that enclosure and encountered him. It's very short, but we just thought it was relevant that we show you this. See just how close it was that our deputies were to a very tragic encounter with this individual.
It loops again.
Yeah, it's on a loop. You can see the handgun clearly in the subject's hand, right hand. So then the next piece of footage we'll show is from Deputy Baldonado. That is the deputy who engaged or who exchanged gunfire with the subject. He's a little bit back farther by position from the video that you just watched. But fortunately, and this is not always the case, but in this circumstance, fortunately, the angle of the camera is almost perfect. So you can see exactly what the suspect is doing and Deputy Baldonado's response.
One chance you can. Here's the crash through the gate, or unless they thought they had money in there or something. I don't know. Did you look in that this garbage can area? It looks like something.
So they're having that same conversation about the enclosure at the back of the property.
Get back! Get back!
Show me your hands! Show me your hands! Show me your hands! You went over!
Back it up just a touch, Jamie, to where the subject comes up over the wall, and just pause it for a second, if you're able to. Just like to show you just a freeze frame of what the deputy is observing. Can't see the subject because it's a block wall, and then it has the gate on the front. But he climbs up over that. There's a bunch of stuff inside of that enclosure. He's able to climb up over it, and he actively engages the deputies with gunfire as he's climbing up and over the wall, and then Deputy Baldonado returns fire. That's perfect. Thank you. You can go ahead.
Show me hands!
You can see the muzzle flash there.
You went over! Southbound! Southbound! He jumped over. Yeah, I'm good.
He's over here, guys.
I don't know if I hit him. He's headed east.
So at that point, there's a lot of things to do. We've got to locate the subject. We've got to see if there's an opportunity for us to render aid. So fortunately, we were able to utilize some of the technological pieces that we're trying to implement in our field response, one of those being the drone. So initially we used the drone on the interior of the structure to search the inside, as there was a broken front door. That triggered the alarm and our response to the location in the first place. So we're able to use an interior drone to fly inside the building and clear it. That's one of the safer ways that we're able to do that. Because as you just saw, we have no idea if there's an individual waiting inside to ambush us. So we're happy to be able to use those tools, because it does make some of these very, very dangerous situations a lot safer for us. Not 100%. Nothing is really 100% for us, but it does make it a lot safer. So after the shooting, we launched the drone a second time to use the FLIR, so that's a thermal image there to see if we can locate where the subject was. You heard the deputies talking about they thought he might have fled towards a ditch bank. This property did have an irrigation canal on the back side of it. And so we launched the drone right away to try to locate him. He did not make it far. He basically just went right over where you saw him up on top of that wall. He fell to the ground right after that, and we were able to locate him with the drone. It appeared he was unresponsive, and so at that point, the deputies move up. We utilized a canine to see if we could elicit a response from the subject. We did not get one, and the deputies ultimately took him into custody. The subject was apparently deceased when we contacted him. Some of the photos from the scene. So as I mentioned, the front door of the business had a glass front to it. It was broken in, and that prompted the alarm in the first place. This is that enclosure at the back, just a still frame of what that looked like on the inside. Likely just climbed up on top of that tire rack to go over the back side of the fence. This was the weapon that was recovered directly next to the suspects. It's a .380 Taurus, a very small handgun, very concealable. There were 3 shell casings from this particular firearm that were recovered on scene. And as I mentioned, we were able to locate one actual bullet, still intact. We'll show you a picture of that. So on the left side there is the round. I guess it went through a couple of tires and then came to rest on the ground, and we were able to locate that when we were canvassing the area right there in the parking lot. And then that's one of the shell casings that we recovered from the suspect's weapon. Our deputy that was involved, Deputy Baldonado, he's a deputy first class. This is his first deputy involved shooting, and he's been with us for 8 years. And I know we probably sound like a broken record when it comes to the lengthy criminal history with some of these individuals that we're dealing with. This is the decedent, Jonathan Dykstra, 41 years old, has a history of multiple burglary attempts, specifically at this particular location. And he had a very lengthy criminal history. I think I count 13. 13 arrests, variety of crimes, that kind of run the gamut of things, from property crimes, a lot of burglaries, breaking and entering, criminal damage to property, violation of a protective order, etc., etc. So quite the lengthy list. It does appear as though theft-related crimes, specifically burglary, seemed to be something he had been routinely involved in. Oh yeah, that's the second page of his criminal history. So the last thing I'll say, and I'm sure no doubt the sheriff will talk on it, is just I think this incident highlights just how dangerous our job is. We probably respond to more burglary calls, just routine alarm calls, than many other types of incidents that we respond to. And even just the mundane act of going and clearing an alarm call can turn into something quite dangerous for our deputies. So we're very thankful that it did not turn out tragic for us. And with that, I'll turn it over to the sheriff. If you have any questions afterward, I'm happy to answer those. Thank you.
Just to reiterate what the chief was saying, one of the things for the public is what we're starting to see and what our deputies are seeing out in the field is when we first came in the office, we focused on organized retail crime, and we knew that it would eventually start to shift back to property crime, whether it's being burglaries, whether it's simple crime, back to shoplifting. We just want the public to understand, be cognizant with the holidays coming around, what's in your vehicle. Pay attention to what's in your neighborhood. Speak to your neighbors if you have any neighborhood watch programs. Make sure you get this information out to suspicious people in your area. We don't want it to come down to a deadly force situation with a resident and someone else that's committing crime. We want to make sure that we also get the trends that we're seeing out there. But other than that, any questions at all?
How concerning is it that this was almost an ambush?
We're starting to see ambushes around the nation go up exponentially. We expect an ambush. It is concerning all the time. We're lucky that we have 2 deputies alive. We always look to improve in any area that what we're doing as far as tactics, as far as technology, our response to calls, but knowing that the dangerous jobs that deputies do every day, you never know when it can turn into a deadly force situation at a split second, no matter what call it is. It's an alarm call, a burglary call. We always must be ready, and it's unfortunate it ended this way, but unfortunately also we're starting to see it go up around the nation and here also.
How many deputy involved shootings have there been this year, and how many have been fatal?
Fatal, kind of got me with that question. This year, I don't know, I have to get those numbers exactly for you, which I can get for you. But most of the ones we've had, how many? 3? And they're all fatal, correct? Except for 1, maybe. We'll get those numbers to you. Any other questions?
And was there any evidence of anything being stolen from the property itself by the time you guys had canvassed, or?
You know, by the time you have the property damage where you saw the window that was broken, in the investigations we're still going through, we believe a firearm was also stolen, probably the firearm that you saw in this picture. So other items we're still working with the owner, but it was a burglary in progress. This was a repetitive place for alarm calls, and we know it's been broken into before, so it's a common target in that area.
If I'm not mistaken, the suspect was targeting the location as he believed that it was cash transactions, so money would have been the main thing that they were looking for.
Have alarm calls decreased since this incident for this location?
You know, I wouldn't know. We get alarm calls consistently. We'll see it go up more in the windy season in March. As far as decrease and increase, I'd have to look at that specific stat for you. But alarm calls are going off all the time. We just make sure as a sheriff's office we're responding specifically to businesses. But it's always been in our policy to respond to every alarm call that we can.
And on that, what about this specific business? Have they seen a drop since the suspect's dead?
They have seen a drop in terms of just this specific area. I thought you meant in general. So hopefully it's not targeted again, but yes, there has been a decline since the incident. Go ahead.
First, can I get the spelling of your first and last name, sir?
Oh, sure. I can give it to you after
Great.
if you want to.
My second question is, is there a common thread in some of the businesses that you're seeing with these increase of alarm calls? Is it usually dealerships, places with cash? Do you see any sort of common thread? Opportunity as far as if someone has knowledge of if there's an alarm, if there's cameras, is it easy to hit at a certain hours? When do people leave businesses? So just basically based off of opportunity. And is there any common locations where you're seeing this more frequently than others?
No, at this point, no. But we will probably start to see that as we get probably closer to Christmas after the holidays start after Thanksgiving.
Thanks.
Any advice, you mentioned the holiday season, to shoppers? Because I know there's that thing that you want to take a matter in your own hands on being a good witness and just staying out of it to save your life.
You know, we always emphasize call 911 when you can, but we understand that people, when you protect life, it's different than just protecting property. I would be very careful with that on just protecting property, but just be cognizant of your surroundings. Even if you have a concealed firearm permit, we saw what happened with one of our deputies, even after the Thanksgiving holiday, with what happened in the mall with the shooter or someone running out of business with firearm. just protect yourself. I think the number one issue that we're seeing that the public does not do is prevent it. And that's when you're coming out of a business and go into your vehicle. Get off your phone and be cognizant and aware of your surroundings before you get in your car. For moms, I watched this myself. I watched it actually this week. You have a child in the basket, you have your purse in the basket, and another child running around. Make sure you prioritize what's safe and what to do so you can pay attention to everything that you're doing if someone does approach you, so you can act accordingly. Okay, anything else?
In this incident, drone assistance, how fast was that response time?
It was pretty fast. That's why we're implementing this technology. And you can see everyone asks, why are you using technology? I can't say it prevented a deadly force situation. I can say when you look at priorities of life, it pretty much saved our deputies' lives as far as after the incident occurred, but it's making our deputies de-escalate the situation. You saw the heat signature that we have. We also have a duty to render aid if possible. I talked about the priorities of life. We saw that there was no life there, but at the same time, the priority at that point was just not only for the safety of the community around there, but of our deputies. Instead of rushing in, he already fired multiple times at our deputies, so we're slowing the situation down to see where we can go from there. So the drone technology, it's been a great tool thus far.
Do you know how many total shots were fired by both the suspect and deputies?
We will get that to you, so I'm factual.
Chris, do you want to jump in?
No.
Any detectives want to jump in on number of shots?
There was 3 rounds fired by the deputy and 4 rounds fired by the suspect.
Okay. 3 rounds by the deputy and 4 rounds by the suspect.
And this was not Deputy Galindo, the deputy that you had shot?
Baldonado?
Yes.
It was Deputy Baldonado, yes. All right, I'll take one more. Anything else? All right, thank you.